Hey peeps, it's Wednesday, late on a Wednesday. It's almost 1 a.m. here in California. Out here visiting my parents with my son, and it's freaking me out that the war drums are already beating. And after everything our country's done to devastate Iraq and slaughter innocent people for no other reason, for profit, we're about to do the same thing in Iran. And back when I was at UCLA for my undergrad, I was part of some anti-war demonstrations. We actually held a concert to try to avoid, going to war with Iraq back then. And I mean, it's crazy. After 9/11, I couldn't believe that people didn't step back and wonder why is it that there was so much anger at the U.S. What was it about U.S. foreign policy that was causing such anger? And instead, this country just became lockstep about war. And here we are. What is it? Almost 10 years later. After there was no WMDs, there was no threat from Iraq, and now we're doing the same thing with Iran. And I guess just to get to the point, during the Vietnam War, or to build up to the Vietnam War, there was a Gulf of Tonkin resolution that was passed. We sent our ships into Vietnam waters, and then when they were shot at, we said, "Oh, look at that! They're shooting at us." But we were sending our ships into their land. I mean, when you get shot at, and the people are defending themselves, then you're the aggressor. The U.S. was the aggressor, and the French were leaving Vietnam. They were done trying to colonize the place and plunder the place, and the U.S. stepped in. Amazingly, after decades and decades later, we're doing business with Vietnam. So this enemy, Ho Chi Minh, who was the leader at the time, he was the number one enemy of the U.S., and it was all Vietnam was going to be a gateway for China to take over the world, and there was this huge communist conspiracy. And now we do business with Vietnam, and we're doing the exact same thing with Iran. It just boggles my mind that we don't see how identical the script is, how we're going to kill more Iranian people, more Muslims, more innocents, further destabilize the region. And we're not questioning any of this. A lot of things have changed, though. We have social media, we have YouTube. You guys are seeing this video. The message is getting out there. So I have a tremendous amount of hope, and I do think we're at a turning point in history. But it's my duty to post a video like this, and it's the duty of people watching this video that also believe in peace, that call themselves progressive, or at least anti-war, or whatever you call yourself. It's really not about the labels. It's what you believe in here, right, in your heart. And if you believe it and you're passionate about it, then it's up to you to share that view. Because if you don't, then people are tuning in to CNN and MSNBC and Fox News and all these corporate junk news outlets that are part of the war machine to just try to convince people out there that there's a threat to our existence, when obesity is a threat to Americans, diabetes is a threat to Americans, addiction is a threat to Americans. This failed drug war that's killed 40,000 Mexicans. Those are our brothers and sisters south of the border, caused by U.S. policy, cartels supported by the U.S. government, right? That's what we can stop. There's stuff we can do at home, but we're never going to do that as long as we perceive the enemy out there. Furthermore, and I have to say this, Ron Paul is the only person running for U.S. president right now that's anti-war. And we have this big debate within the Occupy McAllen movement about Ron Paul and the irrelevancy of electoral politics and the irrelevancy of the U.S. presidential elections. But talking about peace and ending war and bringing our troops, all of our troops home from places like Japan, places like Germany, closing down the bases there, closing down the embassy that's been built in Iraq, which, there's 50,000 private U.S. personnel in Iraq now. And we don't think that we're leaving the seeds for future war there. Ron Paul is the only candidate saying, end all of this foreign stuff. Let people be. Let other people figure out what's right and wrong, and they will come to the conclusions of a just and open society. But no, we can't do that. We have this huge ego in us. I think all of us, whether we've been born in this country or we came to America later, the moment you get here, the moment you start, working here, studying here, you become American. You become American. You become infected by American thoughts and ideas, and a lot of these ideas have to do with just this threat to our existence. And I don't know, it's the fact that Ron Paul is so staunchly anti-war, and I think even that's the wrong frame. It's that he's pro-Constitution. He's pro the United States Constitution, and the United States Constitution has a very, very simple line in it that basically states that if we're going to go to war, it must be an act of Congress, which kind of makes sense. Before we're going to invade and attack a foreign country, that foreign country should have a pretty clear idea that it's going to happen. And a pretty clear idea would be the U.S. Congress, which is supposed to represent the will of the people, has issued a declaration of war. And if our country was really under attack, if people were really feeling, not even just feeling threatened, but were actually facing violence or whatever, then of course we would all pick up arms and defend ourselves, basic self-defense. So there would be no question. But see, all of this is ridiculous talk. And it just shows how far we've come from the truth in this country and how few people are willing to stand up for the truth. I don't know what to think, or not what to think. I don't know what more to say. I was there in the Obama rallies. I was there about Yes We Can and the hope and the change. I have still really good friends that work for Obama and are campaigning for Obama, but I see Obama as part and parcel of the war machine. I don't I don't see the wars ending through Obama's office. Maybe a Ron Paul Republican nomination may force Obama to change all that. Maybe Obama will start picking up some of Ron Paul's platforms, like closing down the U.S. Embassy, or issuing an order to bring all these troops home. I don't know, but I know that if I don't speak out against these wars and against this propaganda and this brainwashing of the American public, then I'm pretty much part of that machine through my complicity, because I knew better. And I don't want to ever see my son, who's only 4.5, right? But I don't want to see 10 years from now, 15 years from now, him signing up for war because he's been caught up in the mayhem. And he's saying, "Well, Dad, this is what we do for our country." And I want to be able to say, I want to be able to tell him that I stood against the wars then as I stand against them now. And I hope that this thirst for war and bloodshed is something that becomes extinct. I hope people learn that peace is really natural and the only way. And so many people I think that are hearing this, whether you're atheist or agnostic or Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Jewish, Hindu, whatever it is, if you take a step back and really search deep within yourself, that desire for violence is just that's the monkey brain. That's what separates us from the rest of the the animal kingdom. is that we can rise above the law of the jungle. But we have to remember that we have that evolution within us, that desire for peace is part of our DNA, and the desire for war and blood and violence, those are recessive traits, and we need to we need to stamp those out. We need to see those become extinct. So I think I'm going to stop rambling about now, and peace, 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 peace and love. And I really hope people start looking deep within themselves and asking why this thirst for violence and this bloodlust and this anger that runs deep within our American psyche. Why is it there? All right, guys. Happy New Year.